Alright guys, we're back again for yet another Bleach Brave Souls video, and we have Limit Breaker Quest dropping once again on the 30th of September, once 1000 Year Blower Yoruichi drops alongside Chad and Ganju, and it's been a bit since I have done these kinds of videos where I give you guys the best alternatives to use besides the main units to use. So here we are. Let's just go ahead and start off by breaking down the rules and just to flat out tell you guys who are going to be the best units for each individual slot. So slot 1 has you up against speed no affiliation enemies, and the rules are as follows. Technique damage times 2, melee damage times 2, and killer effect times 4, and the puddles are burn plus. Keep in mind, if you do plan to bring any other character besides the main units, they will get burns even if they have 100% immunity. So if you guys were wondering, yeah, the best unit for slot number 1 would be the new 1000 Year Blower Yoruichi, obviously. Slot 2, on the other hand, is going to be up against Technique Soul Reapers, and this time around, you only want to bring a ranged power character. And it doesn't matter what killer they have, as long as they have those two rules active, that's all that matters, and you have Paralysis Puddles. This is meant for none other than the renewed version of 6th Anniversary Aizen. He will be the best unit to bring for slot number 2. And then slot 3, you're going to be up against Heart Quincy mobs, and the rules are Mind Damage times 2 and Range Damage times 1.5. And this is intended for the likes of the renewed 5th Anniversary Byakuya. But there are plenty of more options to go for that he might not even be the best units for slot number 3. And we're going to go ahead and dive on into all the alternatives that are available to us. That being said, slot 3 does have Weaken, Freeze, and Poison. I'm pretty sure they have just one map having Weaken Puddles, the other Freeze, and then the other Poison, so there's that. But now, let's just dive on into the alternatives that you guys can take advantage for each individual slot. I'm going to tell you guys right now, for when it comes to slot 1, and you're looking at characters that have the same rule set as the new Yoruichi, unfortunately, you don't have any good option to use. If I have to name one that can potentially work, it's probably going to be Macy, even though she is a normal attacking character with the gauge mechanic, and once you do get it active, you do gain an extra flurry, an extra 100% bruiser, but that's really just about it. She is just going to be very slow, and I don't even want to imagine her performance against the boys mobs, and she's a melee character at that too, so not going to be as fun, not going to be as safe, so unfortunately, you're kind of fucked when it comes to alternatives with all the rules active. But screw that. Let's just go ahead and take away the attributes itself and just sort for melee no affiliation killers. What can we take advantage of? Well, here is one of the closest things that you can go for that can potentially work. Oetsu. This guy should still be effective for slot number 1, even though you will have neutral typing against the enemy mobs and you'll be missing one rule, but keep in mind, I think you guys already know what this character can do. He's a character with Frenzy 2, 140% Purity, and then once you get the gauge active, you do get an additional Frenzy with 100% Berserker, and you do have the gauge Rampage available to you, so you will always be able to keep the gauge active at all times. And yeah, still one of the best Purity characters that we have in the game. Overall, very solid. I don't see this character struggling outside of the Element Plus puddles being a thing. So this guy, I think, would actually be your best alternative. Now, you can use this Shinji, but do keep in mind, you'll have typing disadvantage considering you are up against speed mobs. So, less damage against the poison mobs, and you're just going to be going through the run slowly. And sadly, I'd argue to say that Oetsu is the only good alternative, because if you look at the other no affiliation killers, Yuha, he's washed. The last time I've used him in Limit Breaker Quest was when he didn't need rules active. It was slot 3. We were up against holo mobs. He sucked. He genuinely sucked. And that was not good. This Byakuya, come on. No Havoc, no SP boost. He's cooked. White only works if he's up against heart enemy mobs. If he's not up against that, you're better off not using him. Okay. What about overall tech melee characters? What can we take advantage of? Let's just take a good look. Bro, the options don't even broaden up as much, because these are all characters that are reliant on killer. I mean, yeah, you can use Driscoll, but his kid is pretty bad. Yeah, just use Oetsu. I got nothing else to say. This is really bad for slot 1. Now, let's just go over slot 2. And this time, you just want to bring ranged power characters. And outside of Aizen, I'd argue to say that the only good alternative is Jushiro, which actually, I don't know why I was negative for a minute. I forgot that this guy exists. That being said, he's not going to be super consistent with inflicting ailments and always getting the SP boost and being able to get the extra damage to paralyzed enemies, but he still works. He can work nicely if you do not have the new 6th anniversary Aizen and the other characters that can benefit. You can probably use this Toshiro. That being said, his kit is not that crazy good, but he does have the increased element chance against technique mobs, and his DPS is solid, I think? I forgot what it was. I gotta check it out real quick. He's not too bad. He should be okay to use, really. But if you guys have Jushiro, I think it's best that you use him. I think he's perfectly fine. Frenzy 3, 80% Berserker, 100% SP boost. You're just never going to be able to get the damage to paralyzed enemies very consistently, but still, you're very good. Oh yeah, he also provides recharge to the entire team, so you can never go wrong with that. It works, so yeah. But that being said, outside of Jushiro and Toshiro, the other characters are just no. Misaki, definitely no. She's ass. Ichigo, no. Ulquiorra, no. Parasol Rukia, I mean, she can work because she has Rampage. But do keep in mind, her SA2 is fucking melee. And you're losing damage, and you don't get to inflict ailments with that SA2. So, he's aged really badly as a character for the likes of Limits Breaker Quest. Alright, so what about overall range characters? What can we take advantage of that aren't power and can work? Well, you can use 10th anniversary Ichigo, excuse me. He still should be effective, but once again, same problems as Jushiro. And of course, you will not have Killer, so you guys know the reason why. Renji should still work okay, but again, same exact problem. No wall, no. Byakuya can work, but why use him in slot 2 when you can use him in slot 3 if you have access to the character? So, yeah. And there aren't that many characters that you can take advantage of. Maybe this BL, but no, he has typing disadvantage now that I think about it. Okay, what about overall Soul Reaper killers? Let's see what we can take advantage of. For, like, power first, and then we'll see the other ranged Soul Reaper killers that we can use. You can use Basby. That being said, I don't think he's going to be super effective like he was last time, because he had all the rules active. This time, he's just missing the melee damage, but you should still get all of the skills active, minus the GQ-only skills. Yagoni might work. Keep in mind, he did get a really good resurrection, just no SP boost, but with his stuff, he did pick up Poise Break. He did pick up more damage to weaken enemies. He got Frenzy 2, and got a very high Berserker, so it's an option. I'll be surprised if he works very nicely, but for now, he is indeed an option. And then the other characters, well, let's just go ahead and filter for ranged Soul Reaper killers as a whole. And you can use Giselle. Giselle should be very good, even though this character is still missing one rule active, but should still be very effective. Keep in mind, this character does have Dominate, so once you do inflict Dominate against the Poise mobs, they'll start killing each other, and then you'll be able to proceed to the next area just fine with this character. So Giselle should be a pretty solid option for slot 2 if you do not have access to 6th anniversary Aizen. And yeah, I don't really recommend anyone else. Hell no to this Askin. Yoruichi has typing disadvantage. I don't really recommend her. So yeah, that's it for slot number 2. Now for slot number 3, let's just take a look at what we can take advantage of in terms of find ranged characters, okay? Because that's the only thing we really need to use, so let's see. Well, 10th anniversary Ichigo should still work, but keep in mind, he does indeed lack the increased element chance, so he's not going to be as effective to get all of his damage output out there, but he should still work just fine as a character to use. But now, because this is slot 3 we're talking about, and you are up against Quincy mobs, why don't we go ahead and filter for some Quincy killers this time around, and maybe even Sternritter to see what we can take advantage of. So let's just go ahead and get rid of all that. And let's just filter for Quincy / Stern Ritter. So, the options do broaden up a lot, and I already have 3 to 4 good options that you guys can take advantage of. And the first obvious one being this Ishin right here. If you guys did not know, this character is a character with Rampage and has the broken damage over time combo with Burn and Lacerate. This type of combo will allow you to chip away the poison mob's HP and be able to progress through the map with ease. This guy is one of the few Limit Breaker quest kings for a reason, and it's because he held up so goddamn well in any given Limit Breaker quest content where he was up against Heart enemy mobs. And because this time around you're bringing him against Heart Quincy's, this guy is going to cook just like any other time he was ever being used in Limit Breaker quest. As long as he has this, you're good. Literally. He has Rampage, so you guys know the thing. Frenzy 2, 50% Berserker, 120% SP boost. Yeah, this guy should still be very good to use in slot number 3 if you do not have access to 5th Anniversary Byakuya. But let's take a look at any other given character that can work. Rukia can work. That being said, she is a melee character, and you are not going to have the Mine attribute damage rule active, meaning that she will perform significantly worse than the first time she debuted in Limit Breaker Quest. So if you do not have any other alternative that I'm about to talk about, this character is still an option to use, but it's just not the best one. But it is an option. And the next character, Renji, I think should be able to get away like Ishin in this kind of case, except he is going to be even stronger. As long as this character is up against Quincy's, he will always have the increased element chance against Quincy's active, and he shares the same thing that Ishin has. The broken combo of damage over time, Burn and Lacerate. Yeah, it's just the SA2 having Lacerate Plus, but that doesn't matter because you still have 2 other SAs that you can take advantage over. And this guy is even stronger than Ishin too, because this guy has Frenzy 3, 60% Berserker, a shit ton of damage to lacerated enemies through the 6-star ability and the EX skill. And then you have the same EX move as 9th Anniversary Kenpachi and full Bring Bankai Ichigo. So, yeah. He is going to be very dominant for slot 3. Even with the fact that he only has 1 rule active, being the ranged rule, he should be very good. Now, the next character, keep in mind, no rules, but he does have killer against Quincy's, and considering how good he was in Limit Breaker Quest content as long as Quincy mobs were a thing, I think that this Ichigo should still be working quite fine for Limit Breaker Quest, because of the simple matter of fact that he has Weekend Plus, increased element chance against Quincy's, and this guy provides some really good support. The first being the fact that he provides the entire team 15% recharge. What this means is that by the time you get to the next quest area in Limit Breaker Quest, and you have defeated 40 enemy mobs, all of your characters will already have their strong attacks available for you to use as soon as you reach the next map. And the second thing is, Ichigo provides an extra soul bomb. So you will be able to nuke not 1 map, but 2 maps, which is very, very good. And his DPS is still really goddamn good. Has Frenzy 3, 60% Berserker, no damage to element-affected enemies, but he has Weekend Plus, which by the time you inflict the elements, you do 50% more damage to the enemies afflicted by weakening. And then he has the same EX move as Renji, so this guy is still a king to behold, and I would say use this guy if he still does very well. If he's max transcended, even better. At the end of the day, will help your runs go smoother. So, yeah, there you guys go. Those are, in my opinion, the best alternatives for slot number 3. You have way more options to use in slot 3 than you ever would for slot 2 and slot 1. So, yeah. This is going to be my team for the upcoming Limit Breaker Quest. For slot 1, I'm going to be using Oetsu, slot 2, Aizen, and then slot 3, will bring Bankai Ichigo. Now, this is in the case I do my summons and I don't get Yoruichi, but let's say I do get the character. I'm obviously going to be using the shiny new toy for slot 1 rather than Oetsu because I don't have to deal with the Element Plus puddles, and she'll get all the rules active and I should be able to blitz through the quest itself. That being said, in the event Ichigo actually fails me for the type of limit breaker quest content that we're bringing him in, then I'm just going to switch things up a notch and use Renji. I'll sacrifice the extra recharge, the extra soul bomb damage, just to be able to go through the quest as fast as possible and be completely fine. That being said, let me know what team you guys are planning to compose for the upcoming limit breaker quest, and feel free to ask me any question in the comment section down below in terms of other characters that you guys are thinking of using, and you guys can ask me questions and how to set up the characters. I'll be free to answer. This has been your boy, the Death Smasher, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. So yeah, take care, lads. Bye. Sayonara. Ciao, ciao.